Welcome to the Sacred Shit Show, the podcast for women who are done performing wellness and ready for the real conversation. I'm Hannah Strange, holistic practitioner, best-selling author, and the woman who will always tell you what nobody else in the wellness space wants to say out loud. This is season 5, Capacity, the woman who can hold it all. And today's episode is, you're not lazy, your nervous system is maxed out. I need to say something today that I wish someone had said to me a long time ago. You are not lazy. You have never been lazy. And I know that might be hard to receive, especially if you've spent years with that word living rent-free in your head. Lazy, unmotivated, undisciplined, inconsistent, flaky. All the labels that get quietly attached to a woman who stopped being able to perform at the pace the world demands of them. But here's what those labels were actually describing. A nervous system that had finally hit its limit. A body that had been carrying trauma, responsibility, hypervigilance, exhaustion, and the relentless pressure of holding everything together for everyone else for so long that it did the only thing it could do. It shut down. Not as a character flaw or a failure of willpower, but as a biological survival response. And today, we're going to talk about what that actually looks like, what it's actually happening inside your body when it happens, and why understanding this might be one of the most important reframes of your entire healing journey. There was a period of my life where from the outside, I probably looked lazy, flaky, inconsistent, unmotivated, all the things that people love to label women when they finally hit capacity. But the truth was something completely different. I had been running on survival for so long that my nervous system eventually just hit the brakes, and it hit the brakes hard. I remember sitting surrounded by work that I cared deeply about, messages I genuinely wanted to answer, ideas I was passionate about, and physically not being able to move. Not because I didn't want to, not because I lacked discipline or drive or commitment, but because my body had spent years carrying these traumas, the hypervigilance, burnout, the single parenting, the financial stress, masking ADHD, chronic pain, and the constant crushing pressure of holding everything together for everyone around me. And eventually, the system that had kept me functioning through all of that chaos just shut down. And the things I said to myself in those moments, God, the things I said to myself, why can't you just do it? Everyone else manages. You're so lazy. You're wasting your potential. Meanwhile, I was sleeping a few hours a night, working through exhaustion, running a business, raising children, special needs children, surviving on adrenaline, and never, not once, actually feeling safe enough to rest. I wasn't lazy. I was overloaded, dysregulated. I was someone who had been surviving for too long without enough safety, enough support, or enough recovery. And the moment I understood that, the moment I stopped calling it laziness and started calling it what it actually was, everything else began to shift. No, it wasn't overnight, but it was at the roots, in the place where real change actually happens. And that's what I want to give you today. That same shift. Because you deserve to stop carrying the weight of a label that was never yours to carry. Before we move into today's integration practice, I've invited someone very special to flutter in and share a little magic with you. Her name is Herbal Moonbeam, our guardian fairy here at the Strange Apothecary, and she has something aligned, enchanted, and just for you.
Dear listener, it's me, Herbal Moonbeam, guardian of the green, listener to the wisdom that lives in bodies, and your gentle guide here at the Strange Apothecary. While our host steps away to tend her tea, let me settle beside you for a moment. Have you felt it lately? That deep, steady fatigue that rest alone doesn't touch. The sense that your body has slowed the pace, not because you failed, but because it needed safety more than speed. When the body hits the brakes, it isn't rebellion, it's intelligence. And that low hum inside you, the one whispering there must be another way to live, isn't dissatisfaction, it's memory. This is where the Sacred Portal opens. The Sacred Portal is a 6-month group-held multidimensional healing journey for those who are done trying to heal in isolation and done being told they should already be over it. Together, over 6 months, we move slowly and deliberately through the 5 layers that shape your lived experience: body, mind, energy, soul, and spirit. Not to ascend out of life, but to finally feel safe inside it. Inside the portal, there is no fixing, no pressure to perform healing the right way, no bypassing the body in favour of insight. Instead, we work with somatic rituals that teach your nervous system it no longer has to stay on guard, subconscious patterning that softens survival without ripping it away, energy work that clears what never belonged to you, and soul remembrance that doesn't hype you up, it settles you back into. This container is held as one group, one path, one shared rhythm. Because healing doesn't happen through hierarchy, it happens through safety, witnessing, and regulation in relationship. The Sacred Portal isn't for those chasing a better version of themselves, it's for those ready to stop leaving themselves behind. The portal is now open for enrolment. One path, one group, 6 months of being held in a way most systems never taught you was possible. And because we honour the land that carries us, every enrolment plants a tree, rooting your healing into something living. And so if your body feels quieter as you listen, if something in you has softened instead of tensed, that's not coincidence. You already recognise this pace. Visit thesacredportal.co.uk or follow the link waiting for you in the show notes. The Sacred Portal. You were never broken, your system was protecting you. Now then, sweet soul, my wings are beginning to shimmer, which means it's time to drift gently back into your journey.
Thank you so much, Herbal, and we really do hope to see so many of you in September when we open the doors to the Sacred Portal again. So let's talk about what's actually happening when your nervous system shuts down, because this is where the science meets the lived experience and everything finally starts to make sense. So your nervous system has 3 primary states, and understanding these 3 states might be the most useful thing you take away from this entire season. The first is what we call the ventral vagal state. This is your safe and social state. This is where you feel regulated, connected, creative, motivated, and capable. This is where you can think clearly, make decisions, take action, and engage with the world around you. This is the state where everything feels possible and manageable. The second is the sympathetic state. This is your fight or flight response. This is where the activated, mobilized, urgent state of your body goes when it is perceiving a threat. So anxiety and overwhelm live here. The racing thoughts, the tight chest, the inability to switch off. All of that is your sympathetic nervous system trying to mobilize you to deal with a perceived danger. And the third, and this is the one that nobody talks about enough, is the dorsal vagal state. This is your freeze response. This is your body's most ancient survival mechanism. And this is what people call laziness. But when your nervous system has been in a sympathetic state, that fight or flight activation, for too long without adequate recovery, it doesn't just stay there indefinitely. At some point, when the threat feels too big and too sustained, and there is no way out, your system drops into the dorsal vagal shutdown. And in that state, everything slows down. Your energy drops, Your motivation disappears. Decision-making becomes almost impossible. Even small tasks feel monumental. Your body quite literally cannot mobilize. Not because you don't want to, but because your nervous system has pulled the emergency brake to conserve what little resources are left. That is what it looks like to stare at a screen for 3 hours, unable to answer one email. That is what it looks like to doom scroll because your body cannot tolerate one more demand. And that is what it looks like to have a list of things you care about deeply, but be completely unable to touch any of them. It's not laziness. It's the dorsal vagal shutdown. And it is your body trying to keep you alive when it has decided that functioning is no longer safe. The tragedy is that most women in this state spend their last remaining energy beating themselves up for it, which adds more load to an already overloaded system and makes the shutdown deeper and longer. The way out is not discipline, it's not motivation. The way out is safety, regulation, and recovery. The slow, patient work of rebuilding capacity. So here's a reframe that I want you to take away today. Every time you've called yourself lazy, every time you've looked at yourself frozen and unmoving and decided that it has meant something was fundamentally wrong with you, I want you to replace that story with this one. My nervous system was maxed out. My body was doing the only thing it knew how to do. It was keeping me alive with whatever I had left. It's not a character flaw or a failure. It's a nervous system that has been asked to carry too much for too long and finally reached its honest limit. A nervous system in shutdown is not broken. It's not permanently damaged. It's not evidence that you are beyond help or too far gone or fundamentally different from the women who seem to have it all together. It is evidence that you need more capacity, more safety, more recovery, and more of the right kind of support. All of which is buildable, and all of which is exactly what this season is about. And you were never lazy, not once, not for a single day. And this week, I want you to do something that might feel uncomfortable at first. I want you to notice every time you use the word lazy about yourself, in your thoughts, in the way you describe your own behavior to other people. Every time you catch yourself saying, I've been so lazy, or I just can't motivate myself, or I don't know what's wrong with me, I want you to pause and replace it with this question instead. What is my nervous system trying to tell me right now? Not as a way of avoiding accountability or as a way of never doing the things that you need to do, but as a genuine inquiry, because your body is always communicating. And when you start listening to it as information rather than attacking it as a character flaw, you begin to create the conditions for real change. Notice what comes up when you ask that question. Notice what your body is actually asking underneath the freeze. And come back tomorrow for the imprint episode, where we're going to work directly with the freeze response and begin gently, safely signaling to your nervous system that it is allowed to come back online. And before I go today, I want to speak to the women who have spent years at war with herself over this. The one who has tried every productivity system, every morning routine, every motivational strategy, and still found herself frozen, stuck, and unable to move in the moments that mattered most. The ones who have wondered if she is fundamentally not built for the life that she wants. She is built for it. Her nervous system just needs the right conditions to hold it. And that is the work we do inside the Sacred Shit Show membership. Not cheerleading or accountability for accountability's sake. Real, ongoing nervous system support in a community of women who understand exactly what it feels like to be where you are. Because they have been there too. For £22 a month, you get a container that makes a difference between understanding why you freeze and actually building the safety your nervous system needs to stop freezing. If you're ready to stop being at war with your own body, this is where that changes. The link is in the show notes. Come and join us. I will see you inside.